You have a small scar somewhere on your body. Imagine that exact cut 20,000 years ago. No doctor, no antibiotics, no bandage, just you. That tiny scratch could quietly kill you in days. So what actually killed our ancient ancestors? Honestly, the real answer is stranger than any monster. It hid in plain, boring sight. Let's dig it up together. You've definitely heard this so-called fact before. People back in ancient times all died around 30. Honestly, that idea is almost completely wrong. We picture a world with no old faces. Here's the trick. That number is just an average, and averages can lie to you in sneaky ways. So many infants died that they crushed the average down. Picture 10 people, where 5 die as babies. The other 5 live to 70 whole years. Do the math, the average still says 35. See how that single number fools you completely. An anthropologist named Michael Gervin studied living hunter-gatherer tribes. His research, published in 2007, found something surprising. People who survived childhood often reached their 70s. Some even had great-grandparents around the fire. Basically, ancient adults were not dropping dead at 30. The wise gray-haired elder by the fire was real. Old age absolutely existed back then. It just had to be earned, not expected. That completely flips the lazy caveman cartoon. So, the average screams 30, while reality quietly whispers 70. We just imagined a world stuffed only with the young. Honestly, your own grandma would have fit right in. They didn't die young, their babies did. So if living long was possible, where did death hide? Mostly, it waited at the very start of life. Being born was the most dangerous thing you ever did. A huge share of children never reached 5 years old. Imagine losing nearly half of your children. Back then, that was simply normal, expected life. Researchers Kim Hill and Magdalena Hurtado studied the Ache people. The Ache are a foraging group living in Paraguay. Their detailed data revealed brutal childhood death rates. A simple fever could end a small life fast. Dehydration, a cold snap, a bad season, all deadly. There were no hospitals, no incubators, nothing. And childbirth itself regularly killed the mother too. Here's the strange evolutionary twist behind that. We grow enormous brains inside tiny newborn skulls. That makes human birth uniquely difficult and risky. We literally evolved to have dangerous deliveries. So the nursery, not the hunt, was the battlefield. The most fragile humans faced the very longest odds. So basically, surviving your own childhood was the real achievement. Every adult by that fire was a quiet little miracle. Life's deadliest day was day 1. Okay, but surely the hunters died dramatically, right? Actually, yes, and their injuries are genuinely wild. Imagine fighting a 2-ton animal with a wooden spear. Now picture a giant cave bear or a mammoth. These weren't gentle animals you quietly sneak past. You are not shooting safely from a long distance. You are right up close in its furious face. Scientists Eric Trinkhaus and Thomas Berger studied Neanderthal skeletons. Their 1995 analysis revealed bones full of healed fractures. Then they compared that injury pattern to modern people. The closest match was honestly bizarre. Rodeo riders. You know, the people who wrestle furious bulls. That means our ancestors fought their prey up close. They were grabbing huge beasts and simply holding on. A single kick to the head could end everything. One goring horn could empty an entire family. Healed bones mean they survived, then hunted again. Imagine the raw courage that daily hunt required. So dinner sometimes fought back and sometimes won. So hunting wasn't a sport. It was desperate, dangerous work. Honestly, every single meal was basically a violent gamble. Their groceries had horns and hooves. Now here's the dark part nobody really enjoys admitting. Sometimes the deadliest animal was another human being. In northern Kenya, there is a site called Nataruk. Around 10,000 years ago, something horrific happened there. Researcher Marta Mirazon-Lar published the discovery in 2016. Her team found 27 people frozen in death. Many of the skulls were brutally crushed inward. Some bones still had sharp stone blades stuck inside. One pregnant woman seemed to have had her hands bound. Some bodies were left lying right in a lagoon. They were never even given a proper burial. This was clearly not a simple hunting accident. This was an organized, deliberate, brutal massacre. Resources, territory, maybe revenge drove the attack. So group violence is far older than any city. We fought in gangs long before kingdoms ever existed. The scariest predator often walked on 2 legs, and it looked exactly eerily like us. So peace was never some natural default human setting. We carried this darkness long before we built any walls. We were each other's predators too. But honestly, the single biggest killer was invisible. Forget the lions, forget the spears entirely. The real assassin was tiny, silent bacteria. A scratch, a rotten tooth, A splinter in your foot. With no antibiotics, infection had a wide open door. A simple tooth abscess could poison your whole bloodstream. A small wound today just means a quick cream. Back then, that same wound was a coin flip. People died from problems a dentist fixes today. And then humans made one very strange choice. Around 12,000 years ago, we invented farming. You'd assume settling down made everyone safer. Shockingly, the opposite actually happened at first. Crowding people, animals, and waste together brewed new diseases. This is where most deadly plagues were truly born. Farming also meant eating the same few crops. That made bodies weaker and far less varied. Scientists Mark Cohen and George Armalagos proved this in 1984. Early farmers were often shorter and sicker than hunters. Their teeth were suddenly full of brand new cavities. So civilization's very first gift was actually worse health. So the things we barely notice were once silent assassins. Honestly, your medicine cabinet is a superpower they never had. The tiniest enemy did the very most damage. So let's step back and finally see the whole picture together. Our ancestors weren't slain by one single roaring monster. They were killed by the ordinary things we now ignore. A small cut, a birth, a bad tooth, a bad neighbor. Death back then was quiet, common, and sitting incredibly close. Now think about what that genuinely means for you today. Every person alive today is the direct child of survivors. Your bloodline dodged every fever, every famine, every long winter. An unbroken chain of pure luck leads straight down to you. So remember that next time you swallow a single aspirin, that scar on your skin healed, and that's the real miracle. We never truly defeated death. We only learned to delay it.